Hi, good afternoon. First, I want to thank all of you who sent me great prayers of healing for my knee. It is amazing that I know so little of most of you, and yet as friends, you took the time to respond. Thank you. I am in physical therapy. It'll go on for a few weeks, and I'll continue to do what I'm supposed to do. I don't understand why yesterday when I was posting, when I was doing this live, I was able to see viewers. So I do not know what happened now, but I can't. And it's not being added to my story, which I don't understand. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing every day. One is thank you for your prayers. Two is share. Please share. I never know what time I'm going to go on, but I am going to go on every day. And I'm going to read my book a little bit every day. And in between, I'm going to give you some thoughts I had about why I'm doing this. And it's all because my purpose is to share with you my life, my loves, my loss, my hopes, my history, my friends, everything that pertains to Susan Mintz. And you can go to susanmintz.com and you can, I would prefer, I love emails. You can email me at smintz7179. That's on my website. And you can go under the books icon and under media and see everything. So that's just the way it's going to be. Today I'm going to read a little bit from the preface of my book. And I always say, oh boy, I hope this is working. Yesterday I read the back cover of my book. And now I'm going to start with the preface. Some of this might be redundant and some of it might not. But I know it is posted on my Facebook page, so whether 1 views or 5 shares or 5,000, one day my story will be made into a major motion picture, which I doubt because the motion pictures aren't being that major anymore, or it'll be into a streaming series like Netflix or Hulu. But Committed to Love is way too big a story to be just in one book or to be about one person. It is my story and it is true. So I'm going to read this starting with the preface. My book entitled Committed to Love is a deeply personal one. It explores the details of many issues and experiences I had to face in my marriage to a bisexual man who died of AIDS. It contains 24 chapters with personal stories and issues ranging from his diagnosis on June 19, 1992 with pneumonia and full-blown AIDS until his death on August 17, 1994. And what I'll stop for a moment to tell you is that while writing was so important, I documented every day of his illness in journals, for that's the only thing I could do. And I explained that to you previously, that I wrote in the third person every day. But that's what I had to do. I wrote, and that's all I could do. And then it became such a habit that every night before I went to bed, I made sure I documented everything. And I do have 15 handwritten journals, and that's why I was able to go back years later and pull out the things that were important, the issues that were important, the challenges, the loves, the things we did, and be able to format it into a book. So this was a process, but it started the day he got diagnosed until the day he passed. I have spoken extensively in South Florida on living and coping with AIDS. More relatively, I would say now it's HIV, but remember I'm talking about in the 90s, early 90s. South Florida on living and coping with AIDS and other terminal or life-threatening illnesses. It is in this area I feel I have made the most powerful impact. I am well acquainted with the devastation of AIDS, having lost my beloved husband of 25 years to this horrific disease. My marriage was unconventional and it was difficult, but I would do it all over again because my journey with Jeff provided me the opportunity to discover my own true definition of love. I think that's important. As rough as it is all these years later for me to go alone through my life and deal with what I deal with, it was very important that God did want me to go through it because I did grow. Through all the hardships we go through in life, that is a part of it. You will get stronger if you can face it. Unfortunately, I don't think life gets easier. I think it becomes more challenging. The older you get, definitely, the more physically challenging. And for me, I think the only thing that's kept me going is my faith, that I knew God chose me to do this. And whatever he wants me to do, what choice do I have but to follow what his word says? Let me continue on with this. I think this is even working. Still says tag friends, share to a group, has all these other bells and whistles, but I don't know what they mean, so I'm not taking a chance. Oh, my hair does look good today, doesn't it? All right, that's what physical therapy can do. I just came back from physical therapy. Boy, did I get a workout. It's not just my knee is sore, everything's sore. All right, where I left off, I'm going to detract once in a while. My marriage was unconventional, and it was difficult, but I would do it all over again because my journey with Jeff provided me the opportunity to discover my own true definition of love. For many of us, this is on the back cover also, for many of us, thoughts of love evoked images of champagne, roses, and chocolates. For me, however, love has always meant commitment, unconditional acceptance, and action. As an active resident of Boca Raton, Florida, I abide in my philosophy. I've done extensive charity and volunteer work with hospice and numerous AIDS-related organizations. I've been a gourmet cook and an author of a widely acclaimed cookbook. I've donated a large percentage of the sales of my books to both organizations, hospice and to the health department. Of course, I have to sell books in order to make donations. And I take great pride in the fact that I was an 11th hour volunteer for hospice, and I was called in to be with a family when a loved one's death was imminent. That's really important. Not everybody can do that. I used to say when I went to the hospice center, the care center on Trustbridge now, it used to be Hospice by the Sea, and I was there for 6 years as a volunteer. I used to say that there was more life in that place of people were dying than there was in the real world, the people pretending and going about their business, and this outfit's going to make you feel better, and the car is going to make you feel better, and this is going to make you feel better. I realized that sometimes at the end of life, the most important thing is life. And live it. Live it today. I want to read on a little more. This will be chapter 1. Yeah, I'm not going to read it all, but I do want to start here in the preface. It's called The Journey Begins. Troy, New York. The Journey Begins. By the way, on my website, under the media page, all of this, there's the 700 Club interview. There's other interviews I've done. There's so many. It's just, the website is full of incredible information about this, but I just have to read this as therapy for me. This is what I have to do. I have to talk into my little phone, and I have to share my story with whoever wants to hear it. I met Jeffrey A. Mintz in the 5th grade in Troy, New York. I remember he looked at me and said, "I like your bobby socks." I was only 11 years old, a stranger in a new school. He made me feel accepted. I knew then and there was a connection. At that very moment, I knew there was something special about him. We began an incredible friendship that endured through grammar school, high school, and college. I was, however, not prepared for the events that followed. I was a dental hygienist living in Boston, and I had come back home to Troy to marry someone else. Jeff had also come back home from Springfield, Massachusetts, to complete his master's degree at Albany State in educational psychology. One passionate encounter on a very special evening led to an unexpected pregnancy. It was 1968. Abortion was not legal. It was a small town. Jeff did what was right and expected. We told our parents and had a subsequent marriage. Wait, I'll make sure I got what I'm doing. Oh, here we go. We told our parents and a subsequent marriage ensued. A week later, while at work at the VA hospital in Albany, I started to abort. I was taken to the doctor, and later that evening, on Jeff's 22nd birthday, I miscarried. No one ever knew I was pregnant except our family. I know now that it was our strong bond of friendship and caring that got me through this difficult time. With the initial cause of our marriage no longer an issue, we were at a crossroads. As I remember, we looked at each other and said, "Well, let's see what we can do." We tried because we cared. We always had a passion for each other, and there was chemistry. He was my best friend. I loved and adored him. 4 months later, my devotion was put to a test, another test. On our honeymoon in Spain, Jeff confessed to me that he thought he was bisexual. Now remember, I married 4 months. I miscarry on his birthday a week after we're married. We stay married, and 4 months later, my devotion was put to another test. On our honeymoon in Spain, Jeff confessed to me that he thought he was bisexual. He had a desire for men in his life. I remember thinking, I am 22 years old. I've been married 4 months, and my husband thinks he's gay. I was living in a nightmare. Still, commitment prevailed, and we managed to find a way to make our marriage and friendship work. Just a little more. As careers dictated, in 1971, we moved to Gainesville, Florida, where Jeff received his doctorate degree in special education. Then in 1974, we moved to Houston. He then set up a private practice in his own management consulting company. Our final move was to Boca Raton in 1985. Through the years, our unique relationship endured its share of hardships as well as great times. So many times I screamed out loud. As a marriage, it was difficult. As a friendship, it was perfect. Common goals, shared values, and a sense of fun and adventure held us together during the most trying periods of our life. This is why reading this book, I only read, believe it or not, I only read this one book one time when I thought I was going to be doing an Audible with somebody, and I read it, but it never got completed because he couldn't complete it on his end. It would have been amazing because it was good. But it's even better this time because if I'm reading it and someone comes along who wants to do it, we can preface, we can put things in before, we can talk about issues afterwards. I can bring out the issues and talk about them. And that's what I am as a speaker. I'm an issue speaker. All right, here we're going to continue on. However, it was the next incident that would consequently alter the course of my entire life. Remember, my miscarriage didn't, him telling me he was gay didn't, our moves didn't. No, it was the next incident that would consequently alter the course of my entire life. In 1981, I mean, think about 1981. Was that 40 years ago, 50 years ago, 40? You lose track of the years. While watching a news program, the topic of AIDS was discussed. I was frozen in my body. The so-called gay men's disease was taking young men's lives in San Francisco. I knew at that very moment I had the reason why I was to stay with my husband and love him. I fought so hard not to think that this disease could happen to my Jeff, but I knew in my heart of hearts that one day it would. He had been so very promiscuous with many lovers. My only choice to protect myself was celibacy. I'm going to end right there. That's a cliffhanger. That's one episode on Netflix. I'm ending it right there. My only choice to protect myself was celibacy. How's that? I like this. So now, hold it away, Susan. So now I want to say, please share. I'll be coming on tomorrow and reading more. I know this is on Facebook and you can all follow, but just please tell your friends. There is someone out there who knows someone, who knows someone, who knows someone who wants this story. And they want me while I'm alive. And I said I'm going to be 76. I really don't have these decades to keep praying and asking God for this because I've been dealing with it since he passed in 94. I said, God, if you get me through this, I promise to serve you, love you, take care of your people, but would you please take this thing to the theaters? Here it is. 30 years later, I'm still screaming, Lord, Lord, have your way with me. Bring them on. Bring them on. Thank you all so much. Shalom. That's what I'll always sign off with. Shalom, hello. Shalom, goodbye. And shalom, peace. May peace be with all of you. And the peace that is of shalom. And God bless you.